Are you doing this work to facilitate growth or to become famous? Which is more important? Getting or letting go?
The world is changing, ladies and gentlemen. Mindless media consumption rots our brains. The modern health standards rots our bodies. But most importantly, disconnect from God is rotting our souls. There's a very common theme, which I've observed online, but in real life as well. Very few people are able to balance physical success, in the sense of career, being healthy, with a deeper, more spiritual level of success, having a successful, loving family, being a person of service, shedding the ego. Usually it's either one or the other. To find someone who has, obviously by my definition, success in a more holistic sense is very rare. I can only think of very few people, and they're role models to me. They're people who I look up to for this reason. It seems as soon as a man starts to get some sort of physical success, starts to get some money, maybe likes the way he looks, he often gets corrupted. God takes the back seat, while the ego takes the wheel. So let me plant a seed in your mind, dear viewer. What if we didn't do this? If you're watching this, you're probably similar to me, young, driven, not quite built up our lives yet, but we know where we're going, we know what we need to do. We're gonna make it, but how are we gonna make it? What is that journey gonna look like? Are we gonna do this ridiculous roller coaster along the bell curve? Or are we gonna connect to God from the start? Instead of scarring our souls on the journey to success, what if we treated being a good, more loving, more serving person like any other area that we develop? Of course, build the body, grow the bank account, but never neglect the heart. Never skip heart day. Because this world doesn't need more bad people, dude. We don't need more ego-centered schmucks in charge, slaves to the flesh. All that success just to feed the ego. We need men who are actually higher consciousness, that aren't entertained, aren't interested in these shallow, materialistic pursuits. Men of service who are actually gonna move the needle forward for everyone to contribute to God's creation. Now I know I'm connecting to some people with this one. Some people out there watching, we're trying to play a different game. Trying to play that wholesome game mode of life. So today's video, it doesn't contain any supercars, no promiscuous women, no mogging. Today's video is simply a story about some unconditional love that I received this week. So cue the music.
Boom. Drugs, gangs, drugs, killing people, assaulting women, and whatnot. Gangs, yeah. Drugs and gangs. Drugs.
They ain't believe in us. God did.
This story begins on Sunday morning. I was walking through the village after purchasing some eggs and raw milk, as a young primal does, when an old man walked past. I nodded and said good morning, and upon seeing me, he reacted as most people in the Japanese countryside do. Foreigners are very rare in certain places, so for him it was like encountering a shiny Pokemon. By the way, I'm half Japanese, but I may as well be Queen friggin' Elizabeth over here. I'm considered fully Western, which is fair enough, to be honest. We began making conversation, and in my broken Japanese, I just about conveyed enough information for him to understand my reason for being in the village. He then said a bunch of words which I didn't understand, but I caught him saying that he was a farmer, so I replied in true polyglot fashion.
大人になったら農家になりたい.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the moment that new friendship was born. He told me his land was just around the corner and I could come see it if I'd like. So we walked to his home and I was greeted with a truly wholesome household. 4 generations of his family together, all together in a small country home. The typical welcome played out. They gave me tea, food, spoke to me in words I didn't understand, and I just smiled and waved. The old man's grandkids were there, and you actually can't make this up. I witnessed the most Generation Alpha scene in history. Wow. You remember those circuit trainings we used to do in PE? Imagine that, but with cheap dopamine. The boys each had a station they were at. One was watching anime, one was playing Fortnite on a Switch, one was watching the other play Fortnite while eating sweets and chocolate, and one was scrolling YouTube shorts. Then when one person lost on Fortnite, they would rotate positions to the other person's station as if to maximize the brain fry. Upon seeing this, I simply could not stand by and watch such a sad scene, so I told a G-chan I would take them outside and let the sun heal them a little. Oh, 上手。111。すごい。
Elephant.
Move.
高っ。鳥くんが行く。無理だ。すげえ。なんでキンドルするのそんな手。
危ないよ。
どうしてる？
そう。おい。
後ろからも。
せーの。1、2、
今日止まるの
3、
止まる。13、14、15、16、17、18、19、20、21、びっくりした。スピー
口切って。
はい、最初は
おい。
やった、10個。ほんまに10個。
お。So after a few hours, my man, or G-chan, or by his more common nickname, Top G-chan, pulled up in his truck and said he had a few tasks for us to complete before dinner. Hey yo. Oh.
すげえ。やば。
ほらもうアリバイ取っとこうかね。そう。
Oh, that looks so good.
食べたい。見て。
おお。
でっか。腐食してるけど。
すげえ。
巻く？お？
もうちょっと雨やら蓋したら
できない。
おお。
蜂が人生でね、あれ取れる？
甘い。
おいしい。
お、うまい。
うまい。
う
まい。
So after that incredible meal, Top G-chan thanked me for coming, but said we should do one last activity to wrap up the day. So through the beautiful randomness of life, I had found myself singing karaoke with the old man I had just met in the Japanese countryside. Yeah? Cook. This song is copyrighted. But the story doesn't end there, folks. When I say I received some unconditional love, I truly mean it. Top G-chan contacted me a few days later asking if I wanted to fly in his friend's plane. To which I replied, say no more, my brother. What the frick? We're out here, about to hop in this plane somehow. I don't know how my life has ended up here, but I'm super grateful. We made it, my people. We're flying private now. Don't test me. Got the new jet here, of course. Nah, just kidding. I don't know whose plane this is. Flying with Top G-chan over there. Skyhawk 2. Let's go on a flipping glide.
静かに目を閉じ深呼吸自分の悩み不安悲しみすべてあの方に明け渡す必ず心に光をくれるから
God did.
やっと気づけたすぐそばで差し出されてた手に助けがなかったんじゃないその手を掴まなかっただけ
Okay, this is gonna sound hella corny and cliche, but being up in the air, looking down at what looks like loads of little ants just living their own life, it was a reminder of how small me and my problems are. The scale of civilization is pretty unbelievable. Looking down from this bird's eye view at how the land is divided so accurately, how the roads intertwine so elegantly, how we have these freaking colossal towers everywhere that provide energy to everyone. It made me think, damn, we're actually incredible. From smashing rocks together to this. But of course, as the Zoomer brain does, I lost presence and began questioning, thinking about the problems of the world, all the evil, all the wars, all the failings of the modern world. Looking from this perspective, from above, we're all clearly just little ants, part of the same colony, one family under God. How come we can't just figure all the nonsense out? Well, I sure don't have the answers, but what I do believe is, if all this insane development of civilization is possible, we can figure out the challenges that are up ahead. And this week was truly a blessing that reminded me of how beautiful the world can be. And that is what the message of this video is, a reminder about what is truly valuable. If you're watching this, you have an idea of what not being an absolute loser looks like. You've consumed some self-improvement content about breaking addictions, becoming healthier, etc, etc. Which is incredible, by the way. If I hadn't fallen down that whole rabbit hole, I'd be a complete bum right now. But at least the content that I consumed, the culture around self-improvement online, it can be a bit self-centered and shallow. So I really hope that this video planted a seed in your mind about what real self-improvement is about. Like, look how much love this family showed me for no personal gain. That's why this idea of God-centered, it really resonates with me. Now, you don't even need to be religious to connect with me on this one. Just hear me out. Let me spit. The idea of being centered is just about what is at the core of your actions. Where is the majority motivation for your actions coming from? Now, these science nerds will say, actually, all our actions are self-centered because they're just to survive and reproduce, which is some atheistic doo-doo in my opinion. But if we can grow to the point where our actions are for a deeper reason, Now, maybe subconsciously there's a monkey brain which just wants to reproduce or whatever, but that doesn't matter. At least on a conscious level, if consciously we can shift to the point where we're not just acting out of ego, and we get to the point where we're ruthlessly developing, growing, but centered on more selfless intentions. Imagine how much change we could bring about. So yeah, for us who aren't just gonna sit around, sit behind a screen, watch the world end, this I think is super important. Now, well, of course, we don't need to achieve like some Nobel Prize level feats, right? It's just about, like, we should all strive to be men of service, and this starts at like a small scale, right? Community level things. So yeah, it's just all about that individual responsibility that we can take. Now, I know I'm speaking from our high horse here. I haven't achieved anything. You know, if you have a brain, you can separate the message from the messenger. So, yeah, now, my people, let's bring about heaven on earth. It's good versus evil out there. You know, you either get on the team or watch the world burn. The choice is yours. You know, you could be an absolute muppet and just sit around as evil infects everything that you love. Or you could get on the team. So for you God-fearing bros, I'll see you at the top. We're all gonna make it. Love.